Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. And we've been talking about beer for 3 whole years. Welcome to our 3rd birthday podcast. I'm Joanne and this is Tori.
Hello, hello.
And we're 2 beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. Well,
3 years.
3 years.
Happy birthday.
We'd get to 3 years. Happy birthday.
Did I think we'd get to 3 years?
I don't even think I thought about it.
I don't think I thought, that what's really weird is I don't think I thought about it at all. I don't think I ever went, oh, I'll definitely do it for X amount of years. I think I just kind of went, let's see if it works. And we always said from the start, we'll just do it as long as, we enjoyed doing it and we have something to talk about. I think it was that thing of, if it felt like people weren't really listening, we kind of said we'd still do it. Yeah. We just would give way less of a fuck. Yeah. We would just be like, oh, we don't care about... We don't care, that's what you get. We don't really care, we would care less about being let's buy this piece of equipment to be able to go and do interviews and let's go and do this. But I don't think I ever thought about it in the sense of time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I didn't really think about it. We was just should we give it a go, see what happens? And I still, we're still pretty low tech.
Yeah, we are very comparatively. We are low tech.
I mean, we've got nice microphones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Kindly donated by our friend Rob.
Still on loan. And I'm waiting for him to be like, I'm gonna need that back. And I'm like, it's fine. I'll just have to buy myself another one. Although saying that, I was looking at a mic the other day.
Oh yeah.
That I was like, oh, but it was so much money compared to I was like, I really can't afford to. I've got so many other expenses at the moment. That is not the one. But I felt like it matched my gaming PC really well, because I was like, but what if someday what if I want to stream someday? Which is in my head, I want to stream.
Yeah, you've always talked about
I
it.
want to. I've got ideas for things that would be cool if I knew what I was doing, if somebody else executing it. It's great. This is a mic that matches my PC, and that is white, and it has LED lights on it. And you can change the LED light color, so I could make it pink LED lights to match the pink that I have in my PC. So I'm I kind of wanted it, but then I'm I love the idea of streaming. I don't really understand the logistics. I tried it once with somebody, just to see if we could figure out how to make it work, and we struggled for about 30 minutes and got nowhere. So if anybody wants to stream and they know how to stream and they want me to stream with them and all I have to do is show up and enter a streaming place, I am there with you. I'll justify buying that mic.
There you go. I looked at a purple one at the podcast show last year.
Oh yeah, I feel like I remember that.
I think I sent you a picture. I was like, they've got purple microphones.
You were like, they've got purple mics.
But I didn't want to have to buy one when I've got a perfectly decent one here.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's
a purple one that hard.
It's funny though. I was having this conversation. Somebody actually asked for advice on kit that they should get. They were like, I'm interested in starting a podcast, and I don't really want to say too much because I don't want to take that person's thunder. But they basically were asking for advice. And actually, what's funny is, my advice was kind of actually, I wouldn't worry too much about, because it was I don't want something that's too cheap, but equally, I don't want something that's going to break the bank. And I was like, yeah, no, hear you. But then they kind of started, I think the idea of what they had of what they were going to get, I was like, actually, you might be overcooking what you think you need. You might be massively overthinking and putting too much money in something, which, again, I think part of the podcast side of things is you can invest money into it. That's really good. But I would strongly advise to start doing it first. However, I mean, I guess this covers if anybody's wanting advice.
Yeah.
I would strongly advise just getting out there and just doing it and seeing how you actually work and what your cadence is.
Yeah,
the type of format is. Yeah. Exactly, because it was he was talking about buying kind of multiple mics and hooking up via and I was like, well, actually, when we record it on site, we've just used this mic that does the mic. Yeah, and I was like, and actually it worked really, really well, and the sound quality is really good.
It's less complicated for me to edit because it's one soundtrack.
No, but that's what I mean as well. It's like, I think we initially were like, what if it's too much background noise, or what if there's this, or what if there's that? And it's like, phones nowadays, their cameras are so good that you can do a camera. You can
just record on your phone. You can literally just record on your phone. And then, there's free software out there that you can do it with. Like, the editing software I use for ours is free. The audio and the video, I found free ones for them. They work perfectly well. I mean, it's a little bit of a learning curve if you've never done it before, but
I think if you've got that interest and you're wanting to get involved in it, then like that's something that you're going to be interested in. But equally, that's what I mean, is go with the free thing first, because you might start going, if you don't have an interest to have the learning how to do something more difficult, and you're just going to go straight to, I'm just going to pay and have something that's an easier interface, I think on some level, I think it's worthwhile paying money to make your life easier. But something like this, where it's a hobby, I kind of would question, like, well, how much do you want to do it if you're not wanting to learn how to do that side of things, if that makes sense? And I think it's like, it's just get out there and see, because you might invest X amount of money into kit and then go, oh, either I don't really enjoy this, or I don't have enough time for it anymore, or whatever, and then you've just bought brand, or maybe that format doesn't work for me, or you've bought something and like, say you've bought a mic like this and you're on site somewhere at a brewery, say you want to do a beer podcast and you're at a brewery and you're trying to use this type of mic or two of these type of mics or whatever, that you're gonna massively struggle with the sound in the background, for example, potentially, and you might go, actually, that was not that. What's better is having a small lav mic. So that is some wisdoms that I feel like I've got over the years.
A bit of podcast wisdom for you there, listeners. If you want to ask us any questions about doing a podcast, like we're not particularly technical.
No, I mean
we're very simple, but we can tell you how we do it.
I've never shied away from being like, if somebody wants to know how we've done it. I mean, you could probably figure it out by just work it out. Like you said, we're not massively we don't, but I don't think you have to massively complicate things to have a good product. I think there's one thing, if your mics are always not, there has to be a certain level, I think, to the quality, but above and beyond that listenable level, if you've got good content, people will listen anyways.
People will listen anyway. So 3 years, we've done a lot in those 3 years, We always didn't think we'd have guests, and we've had guests.
I remember that was one of the first things. Hold on, before we get into this, can we crack a beer? Let's crack a beer first.
We've got particular beers this evening, and I think when we started, we were deciding like what, because the advice that I was given when we first started doing podcasts is that you should put out about 3 episodes before to start off with, so that people can binge you.
Which I think is solid, because I've heard that. I've heard that multiple times, and then you're already ready. Yeah. So
you've already got some for people to listen to. And one of the ones, it's not the first episode. It's not like episode number 1, but one of the first episodes that we wanted to do was ice cream pale ales, because you super wanted to compare ice cream pale ales, and I'm like, that sounds cool. I want to do that. So for our 3rd birthday, we've got some more ice cream beers for you.
We do. We've got more. I argue that they're almost in some ways more, I wouldn't even say more elevated,
more ice cream.
Because I think like some of the ones we had the first time around when we had the concept of this were great, but then we also got just some supermarket ones and stuff. So I think like compared to the supermarket ones that we got, is just some of them were slightly more elevated.
Yes.
Or newer versions of what we've had before.
So the first one we're going to start with is Lucaria from Thornbridge. Have you ever had this before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had the different flavours?
I feel like we had one of these before.
Did we?
I think we might have had one of these before. If not, I definitely bought one. I just had it. That was one of the ones I got from a supermarket. Yeah. Because they had it in the supermarket, and I went, oh, that sounds nice.
Because I remember, like, back in the day, like, it was like, oh, there's a new flavour. Like, not quite like Bianca levels of excitement, but, like, it's like, oh, there's a new flavour of Lucaria. They're going to do salty caramel. They've got strawberry. Like,
I
all these different ones.
think the salted caramel one was the one that I had, because I think that's the one that I had at like Morrison's, and that was. I think this was like, it's really funny to reminisce on some of this stuff, because I think that it's back in the days when it was like I think supermarkets are now in a way less accepted. In some ways they're less accepted than they were maybe like 3 years ago in terms of some of what you could get, because I think maybe COVID is kind of what helped shift that dynamic.
I think we've gone on a real roller coaster with supermarkets as well, like, because there wasn't a lot there, and then suddenly things started appearing, and then there was this real boom of like, amazing craft beer is available in your supermarket, and then it all kind of, like, I had a wander along the beer aisle today in Tesco's.
It's like, meh.
And I was like,
Yeah, that's how I feel.
To, like, the breweries that I can buy online that are online and are selling their beers in can or bottle available now, like, because of COVID, there's such a more wide range available, not just needing to go to a shop that's near you, like, you can get it delivered to you. So,
and I think that's part of it as well. Is I think, like, at the start of COVID, everyone was like, shit, what are we going to do about beer? I can't go to my local place anymore. And a lot of breweries just didn't have online web shops. A lot of bottle shops didn't have online web shops. So it was that thing of like, you'd go to a supermarket, and that's the point of like, COVID happened, there wasn't a lot there. There was like some stuff, but not a lot. And then like, not long after COVID, that's when it started going up. And at that point, people were still trying to get web shops online, trying to figure out ways to make it work. Because it's not, I know, like, to an end user, it looks like it's a really easy thing. Like, just put a web shop there, you just buy a thing and it goes in the basket. Like, there's a lot that happens complexity wise behind the scenes. And there's a lot of reasons why people don't have web shops, because of how much of a pain it can be, especially if you've got multiple locations and stuff like that. So it's like, I think they were just starting to get web shops really like sorted out, because it ended up being longer term than people expected. By that point, there was like this arms race at the supermarket, this beer arms race at the supermarket. And that's when you had like all the, did you hear Morrison's got this? And Tesco's got that. And then you'd go run around and you'd be like, my Tesco's and my Morrison's have fuck all.
When we try and get the same thing, you'll be like, I just found this in my Morrison's. And I was like, I've been to three to five different Morrison's, and none of them have got it.
And I think that the Lucaria is one of the ones that I got from, it was like that, like I said, it's that height of that, like, Morrison's like, oh, look what Morrison's has, like, Mozz's has got it. Mozz's has got it. Mozza Beers. And I remember there was just that whole, like, which supermarket is the best supermarket, and then you'd have to be like, what's going on? And now it's like, yeah, like, you're right, it's fizzled out. I went to Morrison's the other day trying to find something specific that I knew was in a supermarket that we were trying to get for something else, just because this was not something that I needed to special order by any means. And I went there and it was like, I was just like, what else is here? And I looked and it was like, I love Northern Monk, don't get me wrong, but it was like 20 different versions of Faith. And I was like, oh wow, we've really gone all in on Faith, haven't we? Got a lot of Faith. Yeah. We had a lot of faith.
All the faith.
We're covered on faith. There was a lot there, a lot of variety. And like where it wasn't, it was like two camps. It was like, you've got some variety of faith, or you got Brewdog. There was like very little in between. And I was like, cool. I see where we're at now. That's great. I mean, I don't tend to go down the aisles that much anymore. Like I haven't done for quite a long time, but it's just really funny that you used to go down and be like, what exciting new releases there today? Will I find an Omnipolo down there? I don't know.
Will I find a Vault City?
Ooh. And then you're like, oh, it's like 20 different types of faith, or 50 different
no
Brewdogs.
Shade. If you want to buy 20 different types of faith, like, enjoy yourself.
All for you. Yeah, and that's what I said. No hate on Northern. I like Northern Monk. Yeah. It's not that. It's just I hadn't realised how many faiths there were.
There's so many different ones.
I was like,
do you remember we got the glitter one? We got the glitter one, and there was no glitter in it.
Again, love Northern Monk, but I felt scammed.
Yeah,
I was like, I did it, and then people went, well, you didn't shake it, and I was like, no.
We poured the whole thing out.
I was like, we poured the whole thing out, and we did not have...
3 flecks of glitter came out at the bottom. We were like
scammed. I feel like somebody else got all our glitter.
Yeah,
Someone probably got so much glitter, and they were probably shitting glitter for days. It's like glitter being the gift that keeps on giving. Someone had that for days after, and meanwhile we were like, we've got like 3 flecks. This is the least amount of glitter I've ever seen in one place in my life. That was sad, but I genuinely love Northern Monk. No shade.
Right, should we crack this beer open?
Yes.
Otherwise, we're going to keep talking and we're not going to have a drink open. As is our way.
As is the way. It is known. I'm hoping it's not too warm now. I've put it in my nice little fun party double-barreled celebration. It looks like little double-barreled celebrations. I thought I picked this glass because I was like, let's celebrate, B.
I like it.
We got this.
I wondered if it was going to be Outpost glass because there's podcast memories attached to that.
Maybe there's other glasses there. Maybe there's not. I don't know.
I didn't think that far ahead.
But no, this one's my lovely gold painted double-barreled celebrations.
I've just got my Indie Man taster glasses.
Fair.
Yeah, it is a beautiful dark brown with a nice foamy beige head there.
Almost has a creaminess to the smell, to be honest.
It does. It's vanilla-y.
So what I would say is what I normally like with an ice cream, any ice cream beer.
I feel like you are the ice cream beer expert.
The ice cream beer connoisseur.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know why. I like when it has almost that like crystallized
I know what you mean.
It's got that smell. This one doesn't have it, unfortunately, but that's okay. It's more creamy. But I like when you have that like affogato had this. I have my salted caramel affogato, and I was really sad because when I said, "Do you still have it?" You're like, "I just drank it yesterday," and I was like, "No." But I love it because it had that almost like smell of like an ice cream tub that had been sat at the back of your freezer and started to get a bit like frostbitten, like freezing. But it had that like freezer burn type smell. Not in like a negative way, but in the way that you're like, oh my god, it's ice cream. Like this smells like a tub of ice cream. This doesn't have that per se, but it definitely has creaminess.
I feel like it kind of smells a little bit like ice cream cone.
I do think there's more. To be honest, I think what I was expecting is I was expecting more deeper, like rich chocolatey notes, but actually I'm getting more subtle, like vanilla creaminess. Yeah. And like you said, I do get. It can, because it's in my head, because I know that we're talking about ice cream beers, it can conjure up that image of like an ice cream cone. Yeah. But I think in my head, because of the fact that I was like, oh, it's a porter and it's this, I was expecting it to be more, and vanilla can always be really quite subtle when, depending on how you use it, when you use it in a stout porter, whatever, it tends to kind of like get hidden. So I wasn't expecting that from this, but
I do like it. It's got a little bit of roastiness to it as well.
Yeah, the more the head's kind of gone away.
Alright, I'm drinking it.
Okay. Ooh, there's almost like a nuttiness to that.
I like it. It's a nice, like there's sweetness, but it's not sweet.
No, but it's not. Yeah, but it's
creamy though.
It's creamy.
A little carbonation tiz that I like in dark beer.
It's very, very subtle though. Like that carbonation tiz that you're on about is super, super subtle. There's a bit of like that roasty type bitterness, almost like towards the, like very towards the back. Like that's like the lingering aftertaste that's there is almost that. You don't really get it from the forefront of the sip.
It's just making me think of ice cream cone.
I think what I'm saying there's almost that like pop of like nuttiness. I think that's almost kind of I want to say slightly like hazelnutty, but I think it's almost more like that hazelnutty is probably the vanilla coming through in like mixing with the roastiness.
Yeah. Do you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of like a chocolate cornetto.
Yes, I was going to say
the sugar cone and the little bit of nut. And the vanilla and the like, not 100% too much chocolate.
100%, and there's almost that kind of like.
I don't think it's as true to a cornetto as the cornetto beers.
Those
from Beer Inc. They were so good. But it's kind of just making me reminisce about.
You're right. I think that nuttiness I think because I'm not used, so being American, I'm not used to putting, so people do on their like hot fudge sundaes, they will put like nuts and stuff, but that's not my bag. Like I was like, I want ice cream and hot fudge.
There's this smell, right, about ice cream nuts, because, you know, if you haven't listened to any of our ice cream episodes before, my granddad...
One of our several, because we've done a few.
And
when it's not, we still
talk about it.
We still talk about it.
But my granddad was an ice cream man, so grew up on ice cream vans, and we used to have, like, tubs of nuts, so that people could have nuts on their ice creams. And there's just this smell, and a little bit of that is in this beer. Like, it's... because it's... I think they're hazelnuts. I feel like there is a specific taste to it as well. Mm-hmm. And actually, the more that I'm smelling this now that it's been sat and it's opened up in my glass and all that,
it smells like vanilla ice cream with nuts and a little bit of like not American hot fudge but British like a chocolate drizzle. Yeah, chocolate sauce where it's like thinner.
It smells like my granddad's ice cream van is what it smells like.
It smells like chocolate sauce. I'm trying to explain it because, like, if an American or somebody else is listening, they might be like, "Oh, I feel like if you say chocolate sauce, that could be interpreted like if you're thinking hot fudge. No, it's not that. It's it is like you took Hershey's chocolate milk liquid and like that type of. It tastes better than that, but you take that type of consistency. Is what I mean. And yeah, I definitely smell chocolate sauce in this now.
I mean,
quite heavily because that's now what I'm thinking of. It's very heavy in here now.
Yeah, I like it. So that's our first ice cream beer that we've got. I've got some fun facts about.
Oh, I like fun
about
facts.
The podcast. There's only a few, but I thought I went through our episodes and did some toting up of things.
I was going to do a quiz for us, but then I didn't because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it because of the fact that you had said you got fun facts. And I'm glad I did it because I would have just done a little quiz for you.
Probably things
Beer Fridge. The Beer Fridge podcast boys was like, oh, they've given me a good idea. I should probably do some type of quiz or something for us. And then you were like, I've got fun facts. And I was like, there's kind of no point now.
No, it's fine.
How anticlimactic would that be if I was like, how many of this? And then you were like, I know the exact answer.
Because I counted. Do you know how many, after we thought we would never have any guests on, do you know how many guests we've had in total?
A lot.
On the podcast? It is a lot. It's a lot.
A lot, but then we had Emma like a lot of times, which I regret nothing. Emma needs to come on more, but...
I mean, every time Emma's come on since, she's had somebody else with her.
So you're counting those ones as... Are you counting individual guests or episodes?
I've counted episodes that we've had guests on because I didn't have time to count all the guests because...
Because sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 5. Ooh, how many episodes with guests? A lot.
There's a lot.
We've got to be nearing like a 300 and something count of episodes.
We're on 160 something.
Oh god, episodes. It feels like so many more. It feels like so many more. Ooh, actually, that's not that bad of a count.
Yeah,
that's. Ooh. 63.
Oh, you were so close.
Was I?
Yeah, 60 guests.
You know what? I almost ran. I almost went 60. And I went. You know what? No, let's make it fucking oddly specific. Yeah. I was like, let's make it so oddly specific because I went more than 50, less than 75, and then I was like 60, and then I went, nah, be oddly specific. 63. And I almost said 62, but I went, no, let's go completely uneven number and make everyone annoyed.
That includes our last guest that we had on as well. So our first guest was Andy from Three Hills. And
sure
the
last
guest that we had was Ken from Mysterious Brewing.
Yeah.
So that's 60. How many guests have we had on in 2023? Do you think?
In 2023 alone? Yeah. Ooh. I'm bad at maths. I'm here going like I'm actually gonna do the maths. Like I'm like, ooh, carry the one. Like carry.
Guess.
Oh, 23.
Ooh, bit further off this time. 13 we've done this year.
Oh, well. I was just kind of like, I don't know. I was like, we've done a
That's
lot.
how many episodes. Like, I haven't counted the individual people.
Fair.
How many Brave Noise episodes have we done? She's thinking hard about this.
No, I'm not thinking hard about this.
You counting the beers?
Maybe. 11.
Oh, you were close again. 14.
Oh, it's cut. Your video's cut off the rest of it.
Hilarious.
I was just like,
how
many?
But not all of our Brave Noise episodes have been a beer. Some of them were talking to our team about it. We talked to the beer fridge guys about it.
I would say, yeah. So there was the Mirakai one that we kind of did like 2 episodes for.
Yeah.
3 episodes. Well, we did multiple when it came to like Mirakai ones, didn't we? Because we had conversation with like ladies on our side. We had conversation with beer fridge. We had... When it came to the collaboration with We Are Beer Festival and Lost and Grounded, we had like basically 3 different episodes for that. We like triangulated that one because we had, you know, Ash and Ren, we had Tom, and we had Lost and Grounded. So yeah, I didn't think about that. I was thinking linear, like how many cans are in the background?
14 episodes.
And then I also realised after I started counting your cans that like... Not all of those were necessarily on the podcast. It's true.
Yeah, that's just because. I think being a part of the Brave Noise Initiative and being able to do all of that work with it and the things we've done with that is one of the proudest things about having this podcast and being able to do that. Like, we started this podcast because we wanted to hear women's voices in beer, and we have had the opportunity to, you know, give women that chance to get their voices heard in beer, like on the podcast, as part of Brave Noise, as, you know, part of other initiatives. You know, we've tried to highlight other people, like
not just women, like anyone that like women, from a anyone from a minority in terms of the beer scene, where it tends to be, you know, I don't think anyone would disagree, bearded white dudes, straight white dudes, like. It's not that we love you.
But there's a lot of you.
We love you, but you are. I think that's it's undeniable that you are the majority. I mean, okay, let's take the beard out of it because I'm sure some people will be like, but I don't have a beard. Okay, so straight white dudes, that is the majority, and that's cool. Again, we love you.
We love you.
We love you equally. We don't even, you know, it's not a we love you less, but you are the majority, and we want to make sure that other people are also heard. In addition, like, you know, So I agree that I think. Because of the Brave Noise stuff as well, I feel like there's been some really good conversations that we've had as part of the Brave Noise stuff that have really and part of that, like, not just the Brave Noise, but part of having, I think the Brave Noise almost opened up the door to some other conversations that we had with people. Dr. J, like, that was
so amazing.
One of the best for me, I feel like I took away a lot from those conversations. I thought about things in a different way that I wouldn't have thought about before. And not even necessarily stuff that I firsthand had at the time, had things that I could necessarily influence and change in my space, like directly by my actions, but things that I could then take away from that conversation to say to other people who are decision makers in places and people who are wanting advice, and I could take things away to, you know, my work's really, really good, like, and they're really good at caring about people and wanting to do the best things in terms of like as a business for their employees and socially in their environment, and like I could take away some of those conversations, and I went and I had like really, really good conversations internally with people about some of those things, like the hiring process, like asking questions that were like inclusive questions and thinking about interviews in a different way, and like I found that stuff has really stuck with me.
Yeah, same. Like I've definitely shared some of those insights with other people along the way and been like this is a conversation that we had and it's really useful for everyone, because we all need different points of view to make sure that we cover everything. Like, listening to just one type of person or one way of thinking isn't gonna allow for development or progress or change or whatever. Like, we all, like, everyone has a different point of view, and if you aren't seeing it from all the different perspectives, you can't make sure you're doing the right thing for everyone and for progress.
Yeah, I think one other thing as well, like, well, I've referenced this a few times on the podcast as well, not even just on the podcast, but outside of the podcast. One other conversation that really stuck with me was when we spoke to Tom at We Are Beer and Game Over Podcast, and we spoke to him about, you know, his experience of getting involved in the Brave Noise stuff from the view of a straight white man.
Yeah.
And like, when he mentioned about he heard about somebody else just doing something as basic, quote, but like as easy as putting a rainbow sticker in a door, because what that says to people, what that says to like a straight white person that's maybe not even thinking about it, is it might not mean anything to them. They might not think twice about it. They might just go, cool, rainbow sticker. But to somebody that is an impacted like minority group, like, they might see that and they might go, this is a place that's inclusive for me, and I can feel like somebody's taken the time to put the sticker up. And does it fix everything? No. Does it mean that tap room is necessarily gonna, you know, or that bar or whatever is necessarily gonna adhere to a strict code of conduct like they should? Or, you know, does that guarantee they're doing the right things just because they've got a sticker on the door? Absolutely not. But that sticker in a window can seem really basic to the point that certain people might not even think twice about it. But to somebody else who's unsure or doesn't, that could be what makes or breaks someone feeling comfortable enough to go in somewhere. Yeah. And it's like, it costs 50p for a rainbow sticker somewhere. You could put it in the window and you can, you know, make somebody else feel like you are a place that cares enough that you've gone and you've done that.
Yeah. So simple, but so impactful.
I think that's the takeaway that it doesn't have to be the rainbow sticker. It doesn't have to be a sticker, but just that conversation, I think, stuck around with me in the sense of it caused me to think like, well, if I could just do something really basic to make somebody else, and it doesn't just have to be in the beer world, it could be in the work world, it could be any, you know, my daily life. If I can just do something small that just makes somebody else, that to me is non-issue, very minimal effort, but could make somebody else feel so different and so much more comfortable, why wouldn't I do that?
And like, I pay attention now and notice when I'm in a bar or a chat room or something and they've got sanitary products in the toilet. Like,
more do have it now, like, I think.
More do now. Yeah, I'm noticing it in a lot more places. And it's just like little things like that just show that people are moving in the right direction.
100%. And like, and personally, I feel like, I know not everybody is happy with, you know, gender neutral toilets and stuff, but like, I love the fact that it's like, you could go into when they have the, you know, because at a brewery you don't have, it's not like you've got loads of bathrooms, you don't have loads of toilet space, you maybe only have one or two toilets, and so like, when you have those spaces, having sanitary products, even when they are gender neutral toilets, like, that to me, it can make somebody that doesn't identify under one gender feel a lot more comfortable, and B, it just shows that it's like, it doesn't really matter, like, it's not a taboo topic. Like, we shouldn't make it a taboo topic.
Like, it's how bodies work.
Yes, it's very much how bodies work. But yeah, I feel like there was just a lot of like I noticed that everyone's welcome initiative posters when I go in places as well. And again, like I said, the ask for Angela, ask for Clive, everyone's welcome initiative. Like, people can put codes of conduct. People can put them up. If they're not living it, they're not living it. And like, it's not foolproof. But I feel like having some of these conversations, like, you can tell, we've said during these conversations, you can tell when someone's genuine. And when you go someplace and you go, I actually don't feel like this lives up to it, and then you just don't go there again. But when I go someplace that I'm enjoying myself and I'm having a good time, and then I go to the toilets and there's an everyone's welcome initiative or an ask for Angela or anything like that shows that they give a shit, it instantly makes me happier. Visible. I'm like, I have taken photos of like everyone's welcome initiatives, and I'm like, look they've got it.
We share it in our WhatsApp group, don't we? We're like, look, I saw this at this place I was at today.
Yeah, it's like it just takes a place from being like a good fun place to being like, oh, really a place I want to spend my money.
So our next ice cream inspired beer is Cherry Garsour, which is an Unbarred and Amundsen collab. It is cherry chocolate and fudge ice cream sour. If you've not seen this one and you've not seen the can, it looks a little bit like a very famous ice cream tub.
No.
It does, yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah. Now, I have had some of this.
I haven't.
I had some at London Craft Beer Festival, and it was...
See, I haven't had any of it, and I think I sort of had the opportunity when we were at the place that we were at, which it's still slight. Well, can we talk about it? Because it's slightly still by the time this comes out. It should be. It should be talked about by that point. I mean, it's all over socials. Yeah. But I could have tried this when we were at that place we were at, and I was like, A, I'm driving. Not driving, but I've got to move my car, so that's a no right now. But also B, I was like, I kind of want to wait.
I'm excited for it because it was
Let's go. I'm going.
delicious.
I'm going to use my Unbarred glass and everything just because I feel like I have to be brand appropriate for this one.
Yeah, you are very brand appropriate today. I have not thought that far ahead.
I love that colour though. Oh my god, look at that beautiful red foamy head.
I know, it's gorgeous.
It's like beautiful pink colour head on that. Deep ruby colour.
So good.
See, I'm curious of how I'm going to find this one because I usually like cherry and chocolate together is not my favourite.
Okay.
But I
feel like that's classic, no?
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. I'm chocolate strawberry if I'm going to go chocolate and fruit, not chocolate and cherry. But this one just sounded just so good, and I was like, I want to have it.
And it's a sour. So before we did pale ales, we've just had a porter. This is a sour. So we've kind of gone like mix up of styles on this one.
Yeah, I wanted us to try to get a pale, but then that's when I was like, we'll have a salted caramel affogato, but then you drank it. Because I was like, we could have had a pale. I didn't know we were saving it either until we were like, we haven't really, to be completely fair and honest, we had so many other plans for things that we wanted to do for our birthday and then life.
This is a good subject, actually. What plans have we had for the podcast and then we've just not either been able to follow them through, we scrapped them. I think one of the big ones was we always said we were going to do a supermarket bracket.
Oh yeah.
Remember? We kept trying to organise it so that we could do like a what's the best supermarket beer type.
I still think, I know it's controversial, but I still think it would be funny to like, the whole thing was I just thought it would be funny to do a supermarket bracket because of the fact that we'd go like, what can you actually get at all these supermarkets?
But then the problem was that we could never get the same thing.
We could never get the same thing is number one. And two, in order to do the bracket, you'd have to buy a fuck ton of things to do the bracket proper. Like if you're going to do a bracket, if I don't half-ass anything, if I'm going to do something, I do it properly. And so the thing is, I'm a project manager. I do it properly.
This, by the way.
Go.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my god.
See?
That's insane.
It's good, right?
Because like that chocolate, it's super thick, like in the sense of it's not super like comparatively.
It's a sour, so it's not, it's not like syrupy. But
It's
got a
but in terms of, I've got to be
it.
careful if I kind of say something is one thing, but it is quite full-bodied for a sour.
Yeah.
And it really has that fudgy chocolate to it, and the cherry, which I mean, the flavour combinations of cherry and chocolate are not my favourite, but they are bang on point here.
It's almost also like, I think with like chocolate fudge, there's almost that like slightly like salty caramelness to it, and there's a little bit of that in there. Oh,
it's really insane because it really tastes like chocolate fudge.
After we were just talking about the differences between chocolate syrup and chocolate fudge.
This is chocolate fudge.
Yeah.
That is not chocolate syrup. Chocolate fudge for sure.
It's so good.
But it's so interesting, especially in a sour, to be able to get that flavour. Yeah. Really.
And I like that combination of like kind of the sweetness of the chocolate and the fudginess. But then there's a nice kind of acidity and that sour cherry note is just kind of balancing it out so it's not overpowering.
But it's not too, like, it's almost not too acidic either.
No.
And I wouldn't say that there's
Not
like a
at all.
there's like a tartness, but it's also not so tart that I think because of that chocolate element as well, the fudge element, if you had someone that wasn't necessarily a massive fan of sours or hadn't really tried them and it's like, not for me, like, you could give them this, especially if they liked that, like if they liked fudge, like chocolate fudge, and they liked that flavour profile, they'd really enjoy this. Yeah. It's really impressive how fudgy it is.
It's so good.
So yeah, this is...
I had to interrupt you. I apologise.
No, I don't.
It's just so good that I was like, we need to get into this.
Go.
It's so good.
It is... I said it's good enough that I completely forgot what we were even saying because I was like, yeah, that was just nothing in comparison.
So brackets. So we've been working on it. We kept trying to bring this up and do it, and it's just not come to fruition, that one, has it?
I think it's just, it was a good idea at the time, but
yeah, I think it's fizzled out now. I don't know whether it'll work. Let us know, listeners, if you still want us to do a supermarket bracket or maybe a bottle shop bracket.
Well, so I think, to be fair, let me qualify, because I think that some people are going to like get rolled up. But my point being, part of the process was we would go, we're going to do a supermarket bracket to see who's like the best of the supermarket and what the best thing you can get at the supermarket is, and then compare it to a local bottle shop. Was basically to go, my train of thought was, we're going to do a bracket of, we'll go a sour, a stout, IPA, whatever, and go, what is the best out of all these supermarkets for each of these styles, until you whittle it down to, okay, this one had the most points or whatever, and then you compare to, like, we pick a bottle shop or an online bottle shop or whatever, and go, actually, what is, like, if you're putting head to head of the best you can get at both, like, what is the better option? That was kind of more the thought process to go to. But then also, that's if you like supermarkets, it was going to be helpful for you. If you're a person that doesn't have the budget to go beyond a supermarket or whatever, it would maybe help you decide which of the supermarkets was the best one. But then, I don't know, it's unfounded because we've never done it, so I can't prove that I can't prove one way or another with anything.
We also wanted to brew a beer for our birthday, and we had plans and things for that, but just
didn't happen.
Ran out of time.
And then I thought, we could homebrew, but that was never going to happen.
No, I have no time for that.
No, but that was it. Started of we could brew a beer, and in a worst case scenario, we can homebrew
one.
And then maybe basically that didn't happen.
Maybe that's a goal for next year, is to like brew a birthday beer
and like be organised with enough time.
Is it the problem is? So we launched the podcast quite rightly on International Podcast Day. Like, that made sense when we did it.
It did.
But it's now also a very busy time of year with festivals,
to be fair,
holidays.
No. So, to be fair, it was a busy time of
Anyway.
It's a busy time of year before, like, it was already busy before the last however many months that you've been in this job. Yeah. And it's like,
and now, there's festivals, and there's hop harvests, and there's holidays, and there's Oktoberfesty type things like that, and there's all these things happening. And
well, next year we can go to Oktoberfest,
maybe,
for our birthday. There we go.
Maybe we'll do that.
Girls'
this is another
trip.
thing we keep saying, right? We keep trying to say girls' trip, and we keep saying podcast on tour. We haven't taken the podcast overseas.
We were going to go to Bamberg.
We were going to go to Bamberg.
We're going to go to Bamberg.
See, all these plans that we've got in place that we just haven't.
This is when I say I never get to travel anywhere.
Oh my God.
Besides all the countries that I've got to go to. I never get to go anywhere. Because I never went to Bamberg.
She's definitely not going to Korea and Japan soon. And then the US. So.
But I've already been to 2 out of those 3 places.
No. Oh, love it.
I'm just saying. I didn't get to go to Bamberg though.
I haven't been to Bamberg yet either, so it's fine. Still on the list.
We had like a girls trip to Bruges, and like that's like immediate. We couldn't. I literally was like, if you'd like to book me for that, you're gonna. I don't have any holiday either, so that's gonna have to be a weekend, and that's gonna have to be a weekend between like mid-November and mid-December, when it's probably the most expensive to go to Bruges. So maybe let's not do that.
Maybe not.
Next
we have
year.
all these plans.
This is before year 4. We need to take a girls' vacation /
girls trip / podcast on tour.
Podcast on tour.
Let us know the places that you want us to take the podcast on tour.
That is so funny. The idea that you're just like that the amount that you're refreshing my brain basically on the amount of times that we're like, we have to do this, and then I think we get to this point and we go, oh, you know, it's been really busy. We didn't get a chance to do it next year though, and then it doesn't happen. Do you remember how we started off going? We're gonna do 1 episode a month.
1 episode a month, we said.
Can you imagine if we did one? Now it feels weird to have 1 episode a month.
I know.
Because I kind of feel like
we cover all the things that we wanted to cover.
It would take ages, first of all. And second of all, I kind of feel like that's a good question. Like, if you had, do you want us to drop down to 1 episode a month, guys? Because I feel like maybe we're too much. Maybe like I only want 1 episode a month. But part of me goes, yeah, but if we only did 1 episode a month, would people even remember to listen to us?
Remember to listen to us, right? I am not dimming my light for any of you people. Like, you're getting 1 episode a week for as long as I can do it.
You're getting an episode.
Whether you like it or not, because that's how this works now.
It is a bit like that. It do be like that sometimes.
Yeah, it do be like that.
Well, that's it. It's like you're getting an episode a week. I don't care if it's like Tory Tap takeover and you get me on my lonesome, or you get Joe with a guest doing something or whatever. This is what you get now.
Yeah.
That's it is funny how we quickly went from we're going to do 1 episode a month and then and I think it's funny when it comes back around to the guest thing. It was like it wasn't even that. It's not that we were opposed to talking to people. We didn't want people on the podcast. What's funny is I kind of think that we were a bit more like, we're not ready for guests. We had said a few times, don't know if we're ready for guests yet. Don't know, like we're just figuring out what we're kind of doing here. We're not sure we're ready for guests. And then like we got the opportunity to have a guest and I was like, we're having a guest.
Yeah, you were just like, we're doing it, and I was like, okay, wait, let me see what we need to do.
It was very much like I was like, so I think we just have a guest, and she was like,
okay,
let's
make this
look
work.
At Zoom.
See how to do it. This is how we've done things though. We've always gone, we're going to do this. And I'm like, okay, let me work out how we're going to do that. Oh, we're going to go and we're going to record somewhere on site. Okay, let me work out how we're going to do that. We're going to buy a microphone.
You've always organised, so I feel like why we work really well as well is like you've always organised like the technical, like I've been like, I have an idea. I've been like, I have these creative ideas. I'm like, how do I do this? And I'm like, I'm thinking about doing this, and this. I think it would be cool if we did this. What if we did this? And then I'm like, thoughts. And then you're like, okay. And then you go and think about how, to make those ridiculous ideas. You go technical. You're like, what is the technical requirements that are needed for this?
I do a little bit of research, and I'm like, how can we do that? What's the simplest way we can do that? Okay, I'm like, right, we need this. Let's do it this way, and I think it'll work. Let's see.
And then we're like, do we need to test it? Do we need to dry run it? Let's just go there. It's fine. Go. If it's just us, we're like, what's the worst that happens? We just doesn't work. We just do something else.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever had an episode where we're like, we can't use that at all, have we? I've made it work.
Thinking about it, no, I don't think so. Because I think even episodes where the audio's not been the best, or like, I think we had some where it was like I can't remember if it was someone didn't want to be on video, it wasn't really set up to do video, how we had to record it or something, and we're like, how are we going to get around this one? Oh, we'll get around that, it's fine. Like,
yeah. And we do we do the video and the audio, but more of you listen to us on the audio than you do on the video, but that's fine. That's fine.
I don't want to look at my mug either, it's fine.
I've got a little bit of where people listen to us from. So
I love this.
I know you love this. So this is in the last 30 days. Wait, let's change it from the
I want to know if we're big in Taiwan again.
I don't think we are. Let's do all time.
Do you remember that one time we were big in Taiwan?
I remember.
That was like
so excited.
Because it was so random. Because I was like, why?
So
I was like, we don't talk about anything that has to, like, there's not anything about even episodes that have come out recently that were like Taiwanese. Like, it's just like, we're big in Taiwan, cool.
So this is only from last December.
Okay.
Because we had to move hosting platforms. All the things you don't know about behind the scenes of a podcast.
And how expensive it is.
Yeah. So our hosting platform decided that they were not hosting podcasts anymore, and so we had to move over to a new one.
We got chucked out, and
we got chucked out. We had to move it over. That then means, that's
it was not cheaper, I'll tell you that.
No,
it was not a cheaper app to spend.
It's not. Go to our coffee page.
Go to our coffee page.
Support us if you can.
Shameless plug for
There's
coffee.
bonus episodes for you there if you like. We give you stuff.
The problem is we'd give you better bonus episodes, but like there's not enough people that do it, so we just it's fine. We're talking to ourselves. It's fine. Shout out to
Cheryl and
Ruth.
Who have been our coffee supporters. Thank you, ladies. We appreciate it.
And I feel bad because Ruth was like, that gives me extra content, but it's video only because there's not enough people for us to work out how to do the other thing.
Well. But so this is only because we changed platforms, we've only got stats for air quotes all time since last December. So since last December, we've had 49 different countries listen to us.
Ooh.
47.45% are in the United Kingdom. 41.14% are from the United States.
Ooh.
The next one, there's a very big drop.
I hope it's Taiwan.
Third, 1.96% of our listeners are from South Africa.
Ooh.
Right?
I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then 1.45% of our listeners are from France.
Nice.
0.94% are from Australia.
Oh, we've made it to Australia. Hello, Australia.
0.94% are from Belgium.
Oh, they probably listened to one episode.
Yeah, so every time
immediately no.
Every time I say the Belgians are going to brew whatever they want, they do a little cheer.
Or they've not made it that far because we've said something else where I've butchered how to say something, and then they've gone, oh, immediately no, and they've not even heard the episode where you've complimented them.
Yeah. 0.92% of people are from Canada. 0.73% are from Sweden.
Oh, cool.
0.51% are from Colombia.
That is so random.
0.46% of people are from Germany.
Okay, again,
they're just getting very
definitely turned off immediately. I'm so sorry, Germany. I'm trying, Germany. I'm doing my best. I've listened to how to pronounce things, and I just know that it's not going to happen, so I just don't bother. I'm just no, immediately no.
So then we've got Ireland, Singapore coming in at 12, India, Spain, Japan.
We have someone in Japan. I'm coming for you, Japan.
12 people from Japan have listened.
Oh,
at
that's
some
cool.
Point since December.
Oh, arigatou gozaimasu.
Denmark, Italy, Norway, Switzerland, Israel, Netherlands, New Zealand.
That's some of them are very unexpected.
Taiwan.
Yes, we love you, Taiwan.
4 people have listened in Taiwan, and they are 21, 22, 23rd on the list.
Shout out to you, Taiwan. You the real MVP. You're number one in our hearts.
Mexico, Australia, Brazil, Croatia, Isle of Man, Argentina, Chile.
Wow.
Czech Republic. 1 person from the Czech Republic.
The question is, do you think that on some level these might be people that are just travelling somewhere else and happen to listen to us?
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Country.
They probably listened to 1 episode.
And they're like, I'm on holiday and I went to Chile and I had one thing. I went to Czechia. I had one. I listened to one thing, and there we go. We've got a listener.
Yeah. Ecuador, Egypt, Finland, Greece, Hungary, Iran, Jordan, Korea, Liberia, Namibia.
I did not expect that.
Nepal, Poland, Portugal, Saudi Arabia, Serbia, Slovenia, Turkey, and Uzbekistan.
Ooh, we got some real interesting.
There's a little picture of a map here. I might have to take a screenshot of it and put it up on the Instagram account.
That's cool.
Of our the density of where our listeners are from.
I'm just we got 12 people from Japan. Yes.
Interesting.
We got the Taiwanese people.
Yeah.
To be fair, I love Taiwan because of the fact that there was one time that we could be we're big in Taiwan. And it's just like, we're a big deal. Because we had like 1 month where we had like a massive bump.
Yeah, just that one, like right at the beginning. Although there still seems to be one person that is listening to us every now and then.
We love you, Taiwan.
Yeah, so there we go. That's
so interesting.
That's our stats.
Funnily enough, so someone at work that he's probably going to hear this because he basically I was on a call with him the other day and he is from, I think he's Latvia. He's that area, and he was like, oh, I listened to your beer thing, and that's how I found out that you're American. I didn't know that, and that's really interesting. And I went, how did you find that? And he was like, someone shared it. And I was like, who shared it? And I was like, who is trolling me? So I'm a bit like, I was like, oh, who's done that? But then also I was like, yeah, but I also am like an open book anyways. It's like, I don't really care. But I thought that was like really interesting because I was like, how has that made it out onto the universe? And then one of the other guys I work with was like, well, he's like, it's not that hard. I found you. I think I've subscribed. I think I've liked you on Spotify. And I was like, I don't think he's ever listened to it, but he's like, I've got you saved on my Spotify. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I was like, cheers. Hilarious. That adds to my count. I like that. Yeah, no. I work with some really good people that are super, super supportive, except when they're taking the piss out of me.
Yeah. I have had it where, like, I was in, like, Germany.
To be fair, to my face, I don't mean, like, shady taking the bit. I mean, like, they will be like, are you influencing?
Yeah,
You're influencing.
Yeah, are you influencing?
That's my team. I love them. But, you know, they are a nightmare, like, with that.
So we have 876 listeners of all time. So I'm looking at the Spotify information now, which has been going for the whole time that we've been doing this. So
when you say listeners, do you mean individual people?
So this is the number of distinct people on Spotify that started any episode in your catalogue. 876. Thank you, 876 people.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers to you, 876 different people. That's cool.
We've got 265 people who are currently following the podcast.
To be fair, let's say 877, because one of those is probably me when I've accidentally gone looking to see like a release of something and I've accidentally hit play. This is probably 877, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice. And sometimes I can see, let's have a look at the audience. Sometimes we can see...
Oh, a breakdown of who?
Oh, top impressions, listeners...
This is like behind the veil. Normally you don't get to see this.
Oh, so... What does this show? What is this? Oh, this is in the last 7 days. Can we do all time? So... We are gender split. This is interesting. Over all time, 65% female... 35% male, 0.36% non-specified, 0.36% non-binary.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah. Our main demographic is 28 to 34.
So older than me then.
Yeah. Oh, the countries are different. Hilarious.
And then you just went, hilarious. Yep.
I'm just not even listening to you. So the country list on Spotify is different.
Oh, okay.
So our top 10 countries on Spotify is United Kingdom, United States, Namibia.
That is completely random.
Yeah. Canada, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, Japan, Italy, Denmark.
Nice.
Oh, Taiwan's on at 12 again.
Yes.
Nice.
Taiwan gets it.
You love Taiwan.
I love.
Yeah.
I love Taiwan.
Yeah, interesting. We had a massive spike in April. On March 30th this year, we had a massive spike in starts. Wonder why that was. Interesting.
March 30th? Could it have been International Women's Day?
It could have been International Women's Day. Really,
that would be super cool. If that was literally the reason why, that would be super cool.
That somebody listened to that. That was... Thank you for listening, everybody.
We
appreciate all of you.
Yeah, I really do. That is like very, very interesting facts as well. It's nice hearing like countries, like when you go, I would have never expected somebody from some of the countries to have listened as well. Even stuff that's like, you know, like Chile. You're like, who Like, who is listening to us from... Like, that's crazy.
Welcome, all peoples. You're welcome.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Get them to listen as well. Well, and let us know what things you want to hear from us, because we're happy to produce the content that you want to hear.
Is there like a really oddly specific style in your country that we need to start investigating? Specific hops that you want to know about?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Hops. I can look into that. I might know some people that might know some things. That leads at beer styles leads us quite nicely in. So I counted up how many beer styles we've looked at over a period of time. Now,
no, you counted the lagers as all different ones, so you just go, okay, fair.
Yeah, and I went through, and I didn't just do like, you know, the rigid beer styles, like that are on like
not just like BJCP
or whatever, like where we've looked at like something like we looked at ice cream pale ales. Or we looked at...
or we took a specific topic, like a specific kind of characteristic of something.
Style,
and we went...
Yeah, style topic. And I have included some other things in there that aren't beer as well, because we've looked at other things as well.
Yes.
Can you guess the number? It was it less than I thought it was going to be? Not necessarily.
48.
Ooh, 31.
Oh, that was much further off.
Yeah,
it was that. To be fair, your leading clue was it when you went, "Oh, was it more or less than I thought it was?" Oh, I don't know. And I was like, "Oh, this could be." And I was thinking, well, interview-wise, we were at a certain level, and then I was like, "So how does that math-wise leave me for the rest of the episodes?"
Yeah. Because we've done fun things like pairing desserts with beers.
Yeah. So I didn't necessarily include that.
So no, I didn't include those in there. Like this, like there's beer styles, and then there's.
But I did think about like hot waters was probably a style.
So hot waters, I added in mead. We've done hard seltzers.
I feel like we'd do a revisit to mead. Because I feel like when we did mead, it was like we just did the Gosnells pack, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And I feel like we could do. I love, the Gosnells is good. The Gosnells is good, but I want to do more artisanal.
Is it Lost
elevated
that are up in Manchester? That I bought you the
yes, the peanut butter and jelly. I haven't opened that one yet. Because I'm like, once I open it, it's going to be lethal. So I was holding off.
So we probably need to revisit mead. Let us know if there's any good meads you'd like us to try.
Or is there meads that you can get in like in a smaller portion like that? I think that's probably what stops us. There's a lot of times to do mead. You have to get like really big bottles, and like if they're ones that are imported, they're more expensive, and like it's a lot harder to justify buying multiple big bottles of mead when you only really have a little bit. So maybe that's one of those like ones that we have to do in person somewhere. But if you've got a place that you know of that is like speciality where they've got like lots of different meads, like let us know, because I've gone to a really cool place in York called Valhalla, and they've got lots of different types of meads there. So that's very Viking themed.
I shared a flight of mead with someone the last time I was in Manchester.
Oh.
Yeah. At Jules. They do flights of mead.
So. Flights of mead. I knew they had mead, but I didn't know they had flights of mead. Oh, that could be a good one. We could go there and do a flight of mead. I don't know if they
marketed it as a flight of mead, but we definitely had like
several,
and it felt like a flight.
Sydney and Eden, I had Shrams at Sydney and Eden. I want to say it was Shrams.
Really good,
yeah. I think it was Shrams because I think I was there and I was like, I know that one, so I'll try that one. And they had like 2 or 3 different ones. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, I feel like mead's probably a one we've got to do in person.
Yeah, we probably need to revisit that. Probably do. Shall we open our next beer? I'm enjoying this.
Let's, because I'm nearly done with this one.
So our third and final ice cream beer, we've gone stout, and we have got Three Sons Brewing Co. Baby Scoop, which is a stout with strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla, so like a Neapolitan one.
This was my homage to one of the first ones we did, which we did the Northern Monk Neapolitan, and I thought, that one was good. To be honest, controversial. I liked the Neapolitan the first time I had it, the Northern Monk one when I first had it, and then I tried it again. I saw it in a supermarket, and I was like, "Oh my god, Neapolitan! This is super, super exciting." Yeah. So they were in supermarkets multiple times. But one time it was kind of like a one-off. It was a one-off, very like, you didn't see it all the time. Yeah, they were difficult
to get hold of. We got my dad to get them, didn't we? Because I think I sent my dad to get them. round his way because I couldn't find them anywhere.
The first time I had it was not on the podcast. It was before the podcast. And I was like, that's really good, like really, really good. And then I had it again. I think I just bought it by chance when I was camping. And I went, that sounds really nice. And I got it and it was really tasty. And then, I think you had to get your dad to get it. Yeah. Shout out to your dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Mr. Joe's dad.
Mr. Joe goes and does
Mr. Joe.
Shopping around supermarkets sometimes for me when I can't find something.
And
less so nowadays.
And I think I was less impressed when I had it the second time round. But saying that, Northern Monk also had their other, like, Mr. Whippy ice cream or whatever. And that was really good. I think it was probably just potentially some... We don't know how they're stored at the supermarket. Don't know how long it was there for. Don't know any of that detail. So I try not to judge it on that. But it was not my favourite the second time round. So I'm hoping this.
It'll be good.
And obviously this is a stout versus I think theirs is a pale.
And it's American as well. I don't think we've had an American ice cream beer before, have we?
We have not.
No, don't think so.
I don't think so. Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe I'm not sure. I got this from the Hive. The Hive had them. Yeah. And the Hive does get some lovely US drops sometimes. And this just happened to be, I was walking by and I was looking for something else for us.
Yeah.
And I was walking by and I was like, that looks like an ice cream cone. And I stopped and I was like, well, obviously I have to get this now. And then that was kind of when I went, I could get this and I could get this. And there we go. In a worst case scenario for our birthday episode, we can do more ice creams.
We've always got a contingency plan. We've got to be more organised next year. It's like our birthday creeps up on us. We know when it is.
Oh, we talked about... Well, we started talking about this ages ago.
We started talking about it ages ago, and then time runs away with us, and we're like, we've got to do our birthday episode. What are we going to do?
Also, I thought you'd appreciate this to bring it back glassware-wise.
Yes. Ah, she's putting it in her Three Hills Teku.
In my original Three Hills, super sturdy, super thick. Yeah, this is the thickest. Like, if someone comes in and tries to rob me, that's it. No, you're going like someone knocks it over. I'm like
somebody knocks it over and tries to break it. No,
I'm like a home intruder. Not in this house.
No,
this is the one.
Teku.
No, this is the one.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's crack this bad boy open.
I'm excited to see if I'm going to get a range of flavours. Or if it's just going to be one flavour and that is like stout. If it's going to be like either too sickly sweet or... Love my brewery ASMR. Oh, what I'd love to know if you kept track of was, did you keep track of the number of like brews that we've done as a podcast?
I have, yeah.
Oh, you've got those numbers.
That's on my list.
Ah, yay!
Next on my list, actually.
Sorry, I was just thinking that doing this made me brewery ASMR made me think of every time we've gone to brew a beer and I've told people they should do brewery ASMR. I still think it's a genius idea because I am talking about people. I am the audience member that watches people make cake on YouTube when I'm trying to go to sleep. Like, I love it. My husband's like, how do you not get hungry? And I'm like, but it just inspires me. It gives me food inspo. And it's like just really easy listening. I can fall asleep to the white noise. Brewery ASMR.
And we've been on brew days together several times now. I'll tell you how many in a minute. But you can guarantee that Tori will find brewery ASMR. She'll drink the wort. She'll be very excited when she digs out the mash. She'll either have forgotten her boots or end up with mash in her boots.
In my boots. But then, like, have you even done a brew day if there's not anything in your boot?
In your boot, right?
It's warm. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's great.
So I think
Joe's on a brew day. Joe tries to drink the wort and goes, no, and then
the rest of it. I don't mind it, but you always give me like a big cup, and I'm like,
it's not my pouring. You just get it, and then she goes, and then she takes a sip, and then she goes,
I'm like, that's nice,
it's fine, and I drink the rest of it.
So I think this smells like that freezer burny.
A bit, and I really smell the strawberry, which is interesting because I feel like sometimes the strawberry gets lost, or it can smell really synthetic, or it doesn't smell like the right strawberry. There's certain fruits, and I think peach is one of those fruits, and strawberries is one of those fruits where it can smell synthetic.
Yeah, agreed.
when it comes through, depending on obviously what they used for it.
Yeah.
But this doesn't smell synthetic, and it does have a very specific strawberry ice cream, like a creamy strawberry.
So it smells to me, I don't know if you had these in the US, but when I was a kid, you used to get blocks of ice cream, and they used to be in cardboard wrappers.
Don't know about the cardboard wrapper.
They used to be in a cardboard wrapper, right? And you could get just a vanilla one or just a chocolate, but you could get a Neapolitan block in one of these cardboard wrappers. And this smells like the cardboard wrapper. Like, it doesn't smell like cardboard, but it's like the wrapper with the layer
when it has the
of
ice cream on
it. It smells like that.
When you take it off and that's what's left on the...
Yeah, that's what it smells like.
The only thing I can think that is akin to is, I don't know if this translates to all of the US or if this is very uniquely New England, but we had what's called like a hoodsie cup, which is just basically an ice cream that is, when you say cardboard, it's like a waxy type cup, and then there'd be a cardboard thing on, like a lid on top, and you get like the wooden spoon that came with it. That's like the tongue depressor, but like half of a tongue depressor. And then you just like you'd like peel the cardboard off, and there'd be that layer of ice cream on it. And then like, this is what you get at school as like a treat. Like if it was the summer and everyone was getting a treat, you'd be like, oh, you get hoodsie cups, you can get a chocolate, you can get a vanilla, or you can get like a Neapolitan, or if it's just a straight up strawberry or something. Like, and that is, I get what you mean by this. Almost kind of smells like the ice cream on either the wooden stick or on the layer of cardboard. I'm having a sip.
Right, let's go.
Cheers, happy birthday. I'm disappointed it doesn't smell as nice.
Taste like it smells,
I saved this one for last. We thought we'll save this one for last. This could be the most complex. This could be the most interesting. This is one of the ones that smells, to me, it smells more interesting.
Take some more sips. I think you got to acclimatise to it.
Oh, it just makes me sad because the first sip I was like, Saying that, someone said to me the other day, oh yeah, there you go, there's a little bit on the back.
It's like you're getting the strawberry in the back.
Someone on Reddit said the other day on one of the posts that I was on, was like, basically the way I asked a question about how people, something about Untapped, and then like somebody was like, oh, I just take a sip and then I rate it, and then if it's too hard for me to rate, I take a few more sips. And I was like, you rate it after one sip? I was just like, you crazy person. Like, I was like, what do you mean you take one sip?
Time,
yeah, exactly.
Right?
I was like,
it warms and it opens up. Like, sometimes I'll write notes and I'll sip a bit more and I'm like, nope, need to go add some more.
That's why my notes, we said this the other time.
This the other day, your notes take a long time.
My notes take a long time because of that. Because of that, though. Because, like, I take a sip, take another sip, take a third sip, write some notes, and then I wait a little bit, take a few more sips, and then, like, sip 8, 9, 10. I'm like, it's different. How do people make notes or judge something on one sip?
On one sip, yeah. No, not for me. But do as you wish, listeners. It's not as good as the cherry Garsour one.
No, that one for me, out of all of them, is the most ice cream like. I think this bitterness is too high for me.
There's a bit of.
I was worried it was going to be too sweet. I'm actually feeling like it's not sweet enough, if I'm honest, for an ice cream. Yeah,
there's a big old whack of. I don't know whether it's hop bitterness or whether it's from the specialty malts, but yeah, there's definitely a.
I think in terms of a stout, it's a nice stout in the sense of like it has that roastiness, it has that like bitter cacao, and like that's alright. But I think it's just because it smells so.
I suppose as well because you've got the chocolate as well from the Neapolitan as well.
Yeah, but I was worried, for example, in the cherry Garsour was that the chocolate and the cherry were gonna not work very well, but you got the chocolate very clearly and you got the cherry very clearly, so the idea that maybe the vanilla gets lost in this, that's fine, but like there's not, for me, this is very one note. It's a bit sad. I know we don't normally talk about sad things in like this, but normally we're like, oh, things are alright. It's not a bad stout, it's just that in terms of what I expected to get and what I was really excited about and how it smelled, I'm a bit sad.
Yeah, it's alright.
Cheer me up, hit me with some more fun facts.
Okay, so
I'll still drink it, but
do you remember how many beers we have brewed as the podcast?
So that's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We've done 3 brave noises.
We have.
We've done 1 beer very recently. We have done 1 beer at Heist as a woman's brew. I feel like I'm missing one. Which one am I missing? I'm going to say specifically as a podcast 6 because I feel like there's another one and I can't think of which one it is.
All right, so our first ever brew. And I didn't feel
And I'm not counting International Women's Collaboration Brew Day ones either.
Why?
Well, because
not us. Well, not when we were
not
single.
together.
No,
Yeah,
not when we
single.
But,
8. 8.
8?
8. No, 7. 7.
Yeah. Because so I mean I didn't think we'd ever. Like it's one of those like I didn't think we'd ever have guests. I didn't think we'd ever go and brew commercially with people.
Or that we'd be in the sense of that we'd be invited as a
we'd
podcast
be invited to do that. Yeah. So like because we could go to international women's collaboration brew day as like an open thing, but for us to be invited to brew with somebody, like that was an exciting thing.
It's still exciting. It's still
exciting.
Cool. Like to me, the fact that anybody still invites us is super cool, and I'm like, oh,
right. So our first beer, I've got the pump clip here.
I've got it somewhere.
I keep meaning to. I need to I want to put it in a frame and
this
stuff.
This is my favourite.
Our first ever beer with Heist was
when a beer so lit you just turn into a bagel.
You just turn into a bagel. So good.
It was
Peanut butter and jelly
divisive.
Porter.
It was divisive. The Untapped ratings. Let's look at those Untapped ratings.
Pull those up. I've not looked at them because I'm not doing it to myself.
Because everyone's wrong. It's fine. When it had a beer so lit.
But also very exciting because it was my base beer recipe.
You did
to develop it.
Shout out to Rachel because Rachel was
Shout out to Rachel, one of our faves. We love you.
Oh yeah, when a beer's so lit it turns you into a bagel.
Yeah.
Our Untapped rating.
Yeah.
Is 3.62.
I don't think that's too bad.
Well, this is I don't think it's that bad. So some of the ratings were. I'm gonna read some of them. They'll just come down.
Ours don't count.
No. This is. I'm not. No. I'm not. I'm not signed in. So it's not gonna show me my friends. It's just gonna show me everyone.
Yeah.
Nutty on the nose, fruity in the mouth, solid, and that is.
Yes.
That looks like it's just under. I can't see the specifics because I'm not signed in. I'm on web mode. That looks like it's more than 4.5.
Nice.
That looks like it's.
That's somebody we
high.
don't know.
Yeah. You've got another one that is relatively high as well. That's all right. That was draft. You got another one that looks to be relatively decent. That's nutty, very slightly tart, plenty of jammy sweetness. There we go. Looks like that's a 3.5. Yeah, 3.5.
I'm pleased with that.
Oh, sorry. These were probably 3.75s, not 4.75. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, 3.7, 3.5. Oh, we've got a 5-star.
Is that me?
Yeah, no, it's not. Oh. It's from Jim Hughes. Thank you, Jim Hughes.
Thank you, Jim, if you listen.
And it says, I think that's what it was. I don't know what that... he thinks that's what it was, but he's not sure. But I'm happy. Thank you, Jim Hughes. We're going to take it. It was at Hop Hideout. Yes, thank you.
Yes, because then we got to have it at Hop Hideout.
Yes, we did because we missed having it where it was, but Hop Hideout had it, so that was great.
So good.
This one's a 3.75. Smells nutty, tastes jammy. I'm happy with that.
That's what we wanted.
Jim Hughes again with the 5-star. Big jelly vibes. Yes, Jim.
Yes, Jim.
Get in, Jim. Big jelly vibes. Yes. I want that on a t-shirt. Big jelly vibes. That was another thing that we were like, we'll do that. We didn't do it.
Yeah,
we were going to do Crispy Boys shirts.
Crispy Boys,
yeah. Juicy Boys, Crispy Boys.
Yeah, we were.
We were going to do stickers. Yeah.
We've got a logo now, though.
We've got a logo now.
We realised we didn't.
We didn't realise we didn't have a logo. We were asked for a logo, and we went, "Oh, I guess we should sort out a logo now."
Oh, that's probably where when I was.
This is our imposter syndrome of we were like, "Oh, we don't really need that." Let's see, 3.8. Nose and taste on the money, slightly thin, but it's 4%, so fair enough. Yeah, take it. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. So that was our first ever beer that we brewed.
Can't complain.
So exciting. And then...
Oh, it does say, so here's... Here's a good one. Bags of jelly on the back. Women's collab.
Yes.
I'm happy with it. Take it. As a maze. Like I said, I can't really see all of them. I'm just reading what was there.
So then our second and third on the same day was International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, and we brewed with Lost Industry in the morning, and then we brewed with Heist again.
Who now have
their own
tap room, which is
like,
amazing.
Like Helen's very annoyed at us that we haven't got up there. We haven't been able to. We've been busy.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, we're surviving. We're so thriving.
I'm so thriving. That is when I tell people to thrive and they go, "Can I steal that?" And I go, "You may, but I also didn't create it. It was a sticker I stole from my work, and it is on the back of my laptop."
Yes, we need to get up there sometime for that. Because that was 2 and 3 on the same day. Very pleased with those. I've got the
back to back.
Got the pump clip for the espresso martini white stout that we did with Heist.
Nice.
That was a good day, wasn't it?
Was indeed.
It was a long day, but it was a good day. Then we brewed our first Brave Noise with Mirakai.
I'm repping my Mirakai hoodie.
Yes.
Because I had to get them involved. If Emma wasn't going to be on this show, I was going to...
Yeah. I think one of the things that I really like about what we've done with this podcast is the people that we've met that, like, when we first started, well, I think I said this the other day, like Mirakai and Elusive and, that we've, and Unbarred, like, we were just like, oh, we've got these beers from these people that we really like their beers, and now they're people that we call friends.
Well, that's it. It's like Mirakai. I remember seeing like Mirakai posted some launching stuff, and I was like, I love this artwork. I love their ethos. I remember messaging you being like, we should ask them to come on a podcast because I really love everything about what they're saying. I was like, they've just popped up like as a suggested on, I think it was like Instagram or something like that, and I was like, I'm being suggested this, and this is like a new brewery that's launching, and I really think that we should talk to them because I love everything that's like that. They align to our ethos. Their ethos aligns with ours, and I feel like we should chat to them. And you were like, yeah, go do it. And I was like, cool, I'll drop them a message. And then like they were one of our first guests as well, weren't they?
They were definitely one of our first guests.
And then since then, it's just like we've had such a good.
They're our besties.
Emma and Ollie are amazing.
Hi, Emma and Ollie, and I've got the pump clip for that one here as well. Ta-da!
Mine are all.
It's got our faces away. On it.
I've put all mine away because I'm like waiting to do something really cool with them, but I don't know what really cool thing I'm going to do.
I was going to do like a box frame, and then I haven't got around to it, so now they just sit on my shelf so I can look at them. And
such is the state of our podcast.
Yeah, because we're busy, yo. Like we're trying to get an episode out to you every week. So then we did that one. So then we had a bit of a lull, didn't we, for a while?
So we had our face on that pump clip, and we were like, oh, so we thought it was really cool. The first one we ever did that was like, we have our podcast name on one, and then to have that again on International Women's Day was like super cool. Like when Lost Industries put that on their pump clip, that was cool. And then we were like, how do you top that? And then we had our faces on the Brave Noise, and it was a Brave Noise, and we were like, how do you top that?
Yeah, it was so good.
We're like, how do you even top that? We're never going to top this ever again. No. And then we did it a second time.
Second time we did it.
But not before.
Not before. We were invited to Elusive, and we got to brew their Brave Noise with them. I was so pleased about that. That was such a good day.
I genuinely still feel imposter syndrome and awkward about the fact that when like Ruth, like I didn't even think about when we spoke to Ruth on the podcast, and she was like, oh well, it was you talking about this and doing this that made us think about that. And I was like, nah, she's just being nice because she's on the podcast. And then she put it in a blog post, and I was like,
she wrote it down.
I was still just like, oh my god, like no, that's definitely not true. And I was just like, oh, such imposter syndrome. And it was like,
it is like
stuff like that to me was one of the most, I think for me it was the Brave Noise stuff, especially things like that were the most that make me super proud. The fact that I was able to talk to somebody, and I know I've like found ways to talk about International Women's Collaboration Brew Day and Brave Noise beers to people that have like not even, like I think there was one time I went to the coffee shop and they had like women girls who grind, and I was like, I'm going to talk to you about that because I had a Girls Who Grind shirt on, and they were like, cool. And then basically found a way to take that round to International Women's Collaboration Brew Day. and it came full circle, and like that was great. And I think like having the opportunity to talk to people and to hear that somebody actually was like,
yeah,
that's something that we should do, from partially from hearing about you talk about that and like talking to me about that, and that was cool.
We have made change. Like, we've been the change we want to see, and we have made change, like it in our own little way, but we have made change.
I think it's stuff like that, and like speaking to Spookton, and it's like, oh yeah, well, after we kind of had that conversation, I thought about it, and I was just like, oh my god, like that kind of stuff to me is the most meaningful and the stuff that I'm the most proud of. And there was also that time that I had written that post that I kind of wrote in frustration, not anger, but I wrote it in frustration about women's brewery tops, and then like Wild Weather, as they were. Wild Weather, they went and they like made women's t-shirts, and I was like, somebody read that and cared enough to take that on board.
And seeing this one reminds me as well, because I remember where I got it from. We got invited to Arundel to curate.
I forgot about
All right,
that.
I'd forgotten about it until I saw the pump kill it, but we got invited to Arundel.
Well, the photos. So I have above me, I've got a photo board of all these. I've got me, you, Kimberly, Emmy, all of us at that brew day. We've got us and Rachel at the other brew day. I've got like us at Werewolf, and I've got us at Arundel like above my head. I've got all my beery photos above me.
So good. Like, we got asked to curate a bar at a beer festival and then like run it at the beer festival. So good.
That was cool, and I learned a lot from that as well. I think for me, I learned a lot about Linda machines and like how to troubleshoot problems, and not even necessarily troubleshooting in a technical way, but troubleshooting to the degree of when you go, I'm not a technical person that can fix this. What do I do to be able to just get it to work good enough until somebody technical comes over? What do I check? How do I fix it? And then just putting in the effort of like, we're going to pack it all up and put it away, and we're going to take it back out the next day. And like that kind of, the setup and the breakdown was something that I hadn't had a chance to do before. And so I feel like I learned a lot from that side of things as well. And I feel like I learned, like, it made me more confident behind a bar, and also in the sense of I felt like I could just be like, I could use my project coordination skills to be like, you over there, I'll go here, and this is what we're doing.
100%. And then we had Nathan, hi Nathan, from Brass Castle, who started brewing because he listened to the podcast and we told him to do what he loved.
I still take, like, I feel like because I was not there for that conversation, I was still like, you took that out of context. Like, I'm like, no,
did not take it out of context.
For my brain goes, you must have taken that out of context. Like, it's
no. He said to me, and he said it on the podcast, he pestered Brass Castle to go brew with him because he listened to the podcast and we said, do what you love, and he did.
But we also, I do genuinely feel like we've made this episode feels so self-indulgent, because it feels like all we've done is like a big like, well done you, and that makes me feel so uncomfortable, because that is not my MO. Like, I am like, well, yeah, I guess we did some stuff and it was cool, but I think we also we just met a lot of really good people. It's like getting to work that bar at Arundel with Chris, and then seeing Chris a few more times, and like just we've got like people that I know that have listened to us for like Emma, like honestly. Hi, you got to meet Emma the other day.
Again at Leeds. I did. I need to message you because I think I've got some thoughts on your homebrewing. We were having a homebrew conversation, so I had some thoughts. I suddenly, as I was driving home, I was like, ooh, wonder if this is the problem, and I'll send you a message.
I love how that's now like, you're like, ooh. And then just I guess seeing like, you know, like just getting to see these people, like Rachel, like I saw you post, I saw somebody posted, it wasn't your photo, somebody else posted a video, and I saw like Rachel, and I was like, oh my god, it's Rachel in the background, and then and then she messaged me, so I've had a chance to chat to her recently, and like,
so good.
We just know so many good people.
We do. We know so many good people.
We're so fortunate. We just know like the best people. And I think it's if you listen to the episode with Ken, it's like, I know that we kind of maybe it maybe came across like we were kind of saying that these other things don't happen. But like, that's not at all what I think was meant or said. I think it's that like we just surround ourselves with such good, we've surrounded ourselves with such a good group of people, regardless of, you know, who they are, what they look like, how they identify. Like, we've just surrounded ourselves in this like echo chamber of like really good people, that I am so proud of what we've managed to do. And there's other stuff that we can't even share yet, that like I cannot wait until we can actually share some of these things.
And there's one more.
We got to do the talk at a hobby place.
Oh, we got to do the talk at a hobby place. Yeah, we did.
We got to have a chat.
I brought my dad along. I said, like, we're going along, we're doing this thing, like, I'm going to do a talk. And he obviously wasn't listening, because then he sat down and we did, like, me and Tori and Ruth and Charlotte were talking to people about it. And afterwards he was like, oh, I didn't realise you were, like, gonna get up and talk about it. And I was like, yeah, Dad, that's the entire reason we were there.
Oh, and Charlotte. Oh,
Charlotte.
I love Charlotte. Love her so much.
So good.
Set the world to right with her.
So many great people. So good. And then there's one more beer that we've brewed.
We did.
That'll be coming out soon.
Do you want to talk about it?
We can talk about it. So
I'll let you talk about it.
If you've been following us on our
socials, I'm like, it's a secret, except for all the people that saw my socials.
We've also said about it in our Q3 roundup. So, so we have brewed a beer with Unbarred, with Dan from 1 Minute Beer Reviews, and Emma Inch. Just amazing people. It's called Like and Subscribe. Makes Tori flinch every time I say it.
No, I was okay this time. I've got you. I've said it enough times.
Made your peace with it.
I think I've just said it enough times now. It's fine.
And that's all about.
I'm sure when it actually comes out and I show people it, and I go, look, I made this. They're gonna go, this tastes delicious, and then they're gonna make fun of me for the name.
Ring that bell.
Which is an amazing. It is a really good name, but we do we do laugh in the office where we'll be like, oh, ring that bell.
When that's out, go get some, because it's going to be pretty good. And yeah, we'll have some episodes about that. If they haven't come out, I don't think they'll have come out yet, but they'll be coming out. Watch those. And that, I mean, we've got some plans for that, haven't we? Because it's all about the beer community.
Yeah. So I really love the concept behind it, but I don't want to, you know, we've talked about it on another episode that will be coming out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really like the concept behind it, if I'm honest.
I think that's fueling us to try some different things with the podcast as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure you're following all the socials and things.
Ring that bell.
Ring that bell. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Go on our
to
coffee.
Make sure that you can see the things that we're doing.
That is the perfect segue there. I guess in terms of like before we wrap it up, while we're finishing the rest of this stout, and actually I feel like again,
is it getting better now?
It's not that it was bad.
No,
and it's not that it's.
I think we just.
And
had
I don't
really
think
good ones before it.
In terms of how it compares to ice cream, I still don't feel like this compares to ice cream very well. But I feel like the bitterness has definitely died down, and it is just a really like an enjoyable stout. Yeah. It's just not. I'm just sad because it wasn't a Neapolitan.
Because cherry Garsour is so good.
Maybe we should have finished on that one.
It's just overshadowing everything else.
But I thought this was going to be like big bold flavours. And Amundsen.
Yeah.
Amundsen's part of that as well.
Amundsen as well. Yeah, Amundsen.
So what do you like if you in the next year?
Yep.
What are things that you want to say that you want us to do that we're not going to do because we're going to say we're going to do them and then not do them? But what are the things that you want to commit us to pretend we're going to do in the next year?
I'd like to brew some more beer. Let's brew some more beer. We're
always, when there's a pumpkin spice beer to be had, we'll brew it. When there's we'll do it for free. We're free labour.
All of your pumpkin spice beer.
You don't even have to say that a woman's brew was here, or you can say that we were there, and you could blame us for the reason. You could blame us for the reason why.
You put our logo on your beer label. Be great.
They might not want that. They might be like immediately, or it will save them for how. But if people don't like it, you could go, it's a women's brew's fault. They made us do it.
I think we should try and do something further afield.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think I want to take a girls' trip. I want stickers because I saw a really cool thing while I was in Greece. Was somebody went, I watched this lady at a craft beer bar that I was at that we went back to several times when we were in Athens because it was so good that we went back. The staff was great, the beer was great, the vibes of the place itself were great, the location was great. So we went back there numerous times, and I watched somebody there take out one of their stickers and put it on a door that was filled with all these other stickers.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wish we had stickers. I would have left our sticker there. But now that we've got a logo, we can put stickers there.
You can do some QR code in so that people can find us. Let's work on stickers.
Oh,
let's do it.
Oh, that could. I had an idea for how we could do a QR code, but then immediately I was like, we wouldn't want that. Don't do that.
No. This is how our planning conversations go.
You should, when I take when I take a shower, I have like about 7,000 great ideas that come to my head while I'm taking a shower. And that's the best time, is when I'm going to bed, when I'm taking a shower, when I'm doing really mundane things, I'm really tired, I get these amazing ideas, and then I go, I must tell Joe, and then I forget 50% of them.
You've got to write them down.
Some ideas, some of the best ideas are better left unideaed.
I guess so. What do you want us to do in the next year?
Oh, definitely the stickers for sure. Oh, that was another thing that you mentioned in passing.
Yeah.
That we got invited to go to the podcast show.
Well, we did, yeah. And
we got to do a panel on niche podcasts.
I was on a panel. I've been on a few panels now. Who'd have thought that? Like, I did have a bit of a surreal moment at Peak Ender. I think I've said this already, where I was sat up there with Julie from Neptune. Love those guys. We need to go to Liverpool. And visit Neptune. Love those guys. And got to sit on a panel with Julie, who is one of the people that, like, I got advice from about being a woman who drinks beer and trying to start a women's beer group. Like, I got advice from Julie before, and that was interesting that, like, we were then on a panel together now. But yeah, been on a panel there at Peak Ender. We got asked to go to the podcast show. Tori couldn't go because you were at a wedding.
No, I was in Greece, and I'm like really gutted because there was another podcast that I listened to that I like, and they were definitely there, and I was like, I want to go, but I couldn't.
So we were on a panel for niche podcasts. That was really fun.
That got hosted by the guy that does my dad wrote a porno, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was lovely. He was really lovely. And actually, we asked, we were like, cause there was me, a guy that does a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and a guy that does a UFO hunting podcast.
Love it.
Great little panel. And we were like, how did you find us? And he was like, I just Googled podcasts and you guys came up. And I had a little listen and decided that you were the people that I wanted to talk to. And I was like, that's cool. Yeah, that was fun. It was nice.
I think that email came through, and I think we thought that it was like a scam.
You thought it was a scam.
You were like, we just got this, and I was like, that's not real? Like, I was like, I don't know. And then you were like, well, I'll just message back and see what happens. And then you were like, it's real.
It's real. They want us to be on a panel. That was so surreal.
I was waiting for them to be like, and we're going to need a deposit, and we're going to need that. And I was like, and you were like, no, we get tickets to the event then. And I was like, what?
There was a green room.
Yeah, you got me some swag.
Oh, yeah, I got you swag. Got some free snacking cheese. That snacking cheese ain't cheap, man.
That's your take. I was like, got your snacking cheese.
Free snacking cheese.
That sounds like something out of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like, got you the snacking cheese.
Snacking cheese is great though. I also met George, who at Peak Ender, who created Serious Pig, which is where snacking cheese is from. He's lovely. They did some beer and food pairings. Beer and snack pairings. That was fun. Which maybe we need to do some beer and snack pairings.
Need to have some people on that can talk about pairings.
And I've also been on a panel at the Women in Beer Festival. That was good. Talking about trends in beer.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you have been on a lot of panels.
I haven't. I've been on a lot of panels now. Goodness. But there you go.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I think next year I want to do something more prepared.
You were on a panel as well. Let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah. I did do a thing at Werewolf.
At Werewolf?
Yeah, I did do a thing at Werewolf.
Yeah. It's not just me, it's you as well.
Not nearly. Not nearly to the level that you've done panels.
It's fine. Put that imposter syndrome away, please.
That's okay. Next year, I want to be on more panels. Invite me to your panels.
There we go. Invite Tori to talk on your panels.
Have
She hates it, but she'll do it anyway.
I don't hate it. I just don't like when people are like, when it's fixated on me. But I can do it I can do it. I'm not a person that goes, oh, once I'm up there, I'm like, I'm there. It's fine. I'll just fake it till I make it. But yeah, I want to do more panels. Invite me to do your panels and invite me to do your Twitch streams. And
that's what she really wants to do.
Invite me to your taproom events. Let me do a Will It Slushy at your taproom.
Yeah! There we go. More Will It Slushy. That's what we want.
Yeah, I want stickers. I want girls' holidays. I want Will It Slushy.
That's what the people want.
Surprisingly. You'd be surprised how many people have been like, but Will It Slushy though? And I'm like, I didn't realise that this would reach
You made it a thing.
this far because people didn't always necessarily respond to me on the stories.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they were like, but Will It Slushy though? And I'm like, how did you know that? It's like it was a joke and it's a joke that went too far.
You made a YouTube channel. That's it now.
Yeah. And it's got 2 Will It Slushies. I've got more that I haven't edited.
So if people want to see Will It Slushy or they want to invite you on their panel, where can they get hold of you?
Well, you can get a hold of me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism or adventuresinoptimism@gmail.com. That's how you can talk to me. If you want me to do what I really want to do, which is crash your Twitch live stream, I'll play games with you. I've got this PC. It will help me justify buying a new flashy LED microphone because if you don't have those RBGs, what is it even functioning? No, you need those RBGs. So yeah, that's how you get a hold of me. If you want to do more collaborations with us as a Women's Brew, you can get in touch with us on Instagram at a Women's Brew or a Women's Brew podcast @gmail.com. And I think we're on X and other things, but realistically, I'm not the one that checks those. So Joe, where else are we?
We are on Facebook and we're on X. We don't listen to it. We don't look at it very often. So if you really want to get hold of us, email us or get hold of us on Instagram because that's where we hang out most of the time. Get a hold of us there. We do all the things.
Things.
We can do all the things.
We rarely say no to something. I'm a people pleaser. Now I don't like saying no. I'll just say yes.
We generally say yes.
I'll say yes and then I'll figure out as we said we'll say yes and then we'll figure it out later.
Figure it out. And then if you want to talk to me, if you want me on a panel or something like that, I have experience of these things. Did a beer tasting at Heist for a lovely group of women. That was lots of fun. You can get hold of me at my beer school, which is Love Beer Learning on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok and Pinterest, and mostly on Instagram, as we said. Or you can come to my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. Gradually updating that blog, hopefully. And you can email me.
I don't even advertise my blog anymore.
lovebeerlearning@gmail.com is my email. Let's not talk to Tori about her blog.
When people say that I'm a blogger, I was like, that's very generous. I've written a handful. I've managed to write a hand. I'm good at writing. Do I ever make the time for it? No, not particularly. Oh, if you're one of our 12 listeners in Japan or one of the handful of listeners in Korea and you want to shout out because I'm going to be there, by the time this episode comes out, I will be heading there within a very short period of time, and I'm not going to say when, but you could tell me if there's any places that I absolutely have to go to. I've got a laundry list of places that I found on my own, but if you were like, you cannot leave either of these places, if Seoul or numerous places in Japan, you can tell me, please do not leave without going to this place. Let me know on Instagram. Always looking for new places to go to. So yeah.
All right. So, happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday.
On that note,
cheers.